blockchain game show, yo.
The Nickx in the house,
Yo.
strategy on the go.
Yo, pump the channel, spread the Soccerverse love. Hit the bell,
Questions,
push
guys.
subscribe, enjoy the show.
By the way, today we had a huge amount of people. Thank you so much, guys, for joining and supporting my channel as well, which is this in this case is official the Soccerverse Lounge. Let's go. Let's start with the questions. Now you can put Dringa. I saw it. I saw all your questions. Put them down now so that Andy can go through the questions. Okay, we have Chipone. Chipone, the first one. Do you want me to read the questions? Is better, Andy, or you read them?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I read it. Okay, Chipone. Regarding the fan base calculation, the actual formula is limiting a lot of teams to wait. Sorry. Regarding game engine. Wait, Chipone passed another question below. Okay, I'll start again. The actual formula is limiting a lot of teams to get more fan base, even the teams are getting even if they are getting good results. So the limit is now on the average of your local division.
Okay, because I don't
But
interrupt your
imagine a
question.
club from
Okay, so don't
Romania
interrupt mine. Show some respect.
who can win 5 times the Champions League, but will not be able to get more than 5,000 fans because of the league limitation. Or any team from any first division who have more fans than the average will never improve. How is it? What is your opinion on this? Will we ever see basically improving the fan base given the results?
Possibly we could look into that. There's lots of a piece of work we need to do. There is a lot of countries in the game that maybe we haven't fully looked at all the. So it's kind of a bit generic at the moment. What we've got, it's probably based around the top European divisions, and then we've looked at some lower leagues. We took samples of leagues from around the world, so there could certainly be things that aren't correct. That maybe there is a league like in Romania where the top team is always winning, but its fan base doesn't improve. I mean, the fan base should always work towards the average of the division that the club's in. So even if you started off less, so say that Romanian club had 1,000 fans and the average of the league was 5,000, it would work to 5,000, and then it can be 30% higher than that if it's top of the league. Well, it depends on the size of the league. I don't know how big Romania is actually off the top of my head. But you can get more than the average if you're at the top of the league. That's kind of how it's designed. So you could get more than the average if you keep staying at the top of the league. And when you go in the Champions League, you will fill out your stadium, which for some clubs might be bigger. So some clubs might have an advantage by being in the top club.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's an idea.
We will look at it. We can still change things like that if it's going to be a club that's always winning but unfair. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Cool, thank you. Promising. And then a question about that many people have actually is about new European competitions, or not. I think it's not only European competition, like new continental competition. We saw that you implemented the pre-qualifier for the Champions League. What about in Europe? Conference League or Europa League and the corresponding in the other continents. Do you plan to add these other competitions?
But possibly. I think what we will do, we're gonna have a good look at that. There is more things we can do. We'll certainly have a really good look at that. I think we just need to. My thought with that is we just need to make sure that it fits in with the game economy, and it probably will, but we do need to look at that. So we could end up with a lot of countries with a lot of teams into lots of European competitions, and that might start making lots of money. So the Cup Winners' Cup and the Champions' Cup, that money is all inflationary above and beyond what the game economy is work. I mean, there's an article in that wiki which explains the game economy, and certain things are inflationary and is intentionally. And every competition we introduce introduces more inflation. So, but then if we don't want that, we have to then take the money from somewhere else, and that's unfair on those who are not getting into these competitions, who have got less of a chance of getting in them. So, but yeah, I mean, we were certainly going to have another look at it. Other things we could do as well, we could have the winners of the Cup Winners' Cup play the winners of the Champions Cup in the next season. We could have the winners of the domestic league play the winners of the domestic cup. We could have the more sort of one-off competitions where you play just once in a league. We could do things like that, and an international management is something else we were looking at. But
yeah, I saw it. Friendlies and also international, but that's going to be packed. I mean, time-wise, we barely have time. I mean, some people play 3 games per week. Imagine if there is also internationals, friendlies. Maybe it's a separate world where you can test stuff. But even international is going to be time-wise difficult.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, the thing with international management is it wouldn't interfere with the game economy. There wouldn't be any. It'd just be a separate. There wouldn't be any money to. For match receipts going to any clubs. Yeah, and friendlies as well. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, another question by Chupone is actually about the game engine. He wants to know the mechanism. So he's asking, regarding the game engine, can you please explain us a little bit how the game engine is working? I mean, how the occasions are generated for it, if they are calculated, how the decision to a goal will be a goal or not, or these things, or about player versus player, or is more about a zone versus zone, how the probability of winning and the statistics are generated inside of the brain of Soccerverse.
Yeah, that's
a secret.
That's quite a heavy question. Yeah, all code is going to be open sourced. That is our intention. I think we need to work more on it being balanced. It's heavily really related on the best players win more of the battles, if you will. And there is randomness in there, pseudo random in there. It has to be. It's got, even the worst team could still beat the best team, although it's so extremely unlikely.
Yes.
Even with one of these super formations that apparently
and
exist.
Play styles, 5-3-2 defensive.
Yeah.
That's
on the worst team. So but yeah, there's a lot of parts. I think it generally comes down to the best players. We do see that the best squads tend to be towards the top of the leagues.
Sure.
That's the player ratings is a big factor, and rightly so. And there is things like you could rest your players, you could bring on a sub, and then you can have a bit of an advantage over not doing that. There's all that stuff is in there, but yeah, that's.
Is it
yeah
player versus player, or basically the main question was also the zones? Chipone has this idea that my work defense versus attack. The attackers are stronger than the defenders, the opponent, so there is more likelihood to score. How does it work?
Yeah, so they do. I'm gonna have to have another look at go over the matching, because it's been quite a while since I looked over it all. But effectively, yeah, that sort of thing is going on. So the defenders do have a battle with the attackers. It does add up the ratings of the defence and come up with a score and use an average score, and then there's the odds of an attack going through a defence are weighted based on there's a bunch of algorithms. It's sort of zonal. It's not zonal in terms of X, Y, and Z. It's more summing up the midfield
positions, lines.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
More positions rather than XY grid positions.
Yeah.
Well, that might be an improvement we put in the future where we start working on an XY grid positions,
Never said
and we
that.
would certainly have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. That's already an extra information that definitely we didn't know, but now we know. So Chupone was right because he actually hypothesized, it was one of his hypotheses since very early of how these calculations were done. Let's go. Thank you so much. Hey Andy, this is King Taddy. Hope you well. Just checking if any previous rumors might be in the works, such as potential World Cup idea of UCL space that will be designed to UCL Champions League winner of previous year in-game watch along, and also if team might implement own goals into matches. Okay, so there is like 4 questions into one question. He's asking about World Cup, and then the idea of the UCL winner gets automatically into the UCL of the next year, and then if we can see the game live, and if there will be own goals. So some of these things we talked about it, but maybe some others we didn't.
Yeah, the World Cup. That was if that was an international World Cup, then that would be if we did international managements, that would certainly be in there. And we did that at Soccer Manager. We did something similar at Soccer Manager. We would we would keep adding things in over the years. And international management eventually went in. Friendlies eventually went in. You just get people playing it, and they just said we all want international management, and everyone keeps asking for it. So eventually we looked to put it in, and if international management went in, then a World Cup would go in. Maybe it'd be the end of every second season or something. We'd have a World Cup, or every 2 seasons or every 4 seasons. And the UCL space. Oh yeah, if you're a winner, you automatically go through. Possibly. I mean, it would. Yeah, the reason why that isn't there at the minute is because it'd just be a little bit. When we were doing it, we are just trying to get in this as it was. It's kind of a bit complicated because then you give another position in that country who doesn't go in if the winner goes in. Someone else doesn't go in. So it's things like that which we just have to work out
to balance.
Yeah.
Yes. And then what else? There was another make unique and specific. No, there was. Okay. The thing to watch the game live. We discussed it throughout the interview. Own goals. If there will ever be own goals.
Yeah, we will get own goals. There will be.
Really?
Eventually. Yeah, we could.
That's nice. I didn't know. I didn't know it was a big deal. I never actually thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people are asking about. But these would be the sort of match engine.
Yeah.
Sort of those things improvements. Yeah, rather than overhauling it, it might be. Cool. Offside, all sorts of stuff.
True. That will come also with the commentary, the enhanced commentary of the games. AP9MC is asking about the players. So I wanted to know if more features will be added regarding the players, ranging from technical ones to physical ones like height and weight as well, in order to make them more unique and specific for certain types of gameplay, tactics, and so on.
It would be a while before we did that. Yeah, these sort of improvements are things that come in over time. Yeah, we can keep working on the match engine where we add more depth into it. But yeah, I mean, we can do, and there'd be probably lots of these sort of ideas that we can get into the game eventually. Yeah, they do take time, these things, because it's like the game economy is the same. We're going to keep get everything very balanced, and then when we change anything or add anything, we want what's got it balanced. We got to keep it balanced. Same with the match engine. So, but yeah, there could be lots of things like height and weight, favorite foot, and all sorts of things.
But that
And
would
then
be a
extra
big change.
attributes that players make.
It would be a big change because you have to recompute all the statistics, or the outcome of a game based on physical attributes of each individual player versus, I mean, not only physical but also technical new attributes. It's going to be a big difference, in my opinion, in the game engine. So, but it's good that you are open to it. So it might happen. Let's put it this way. Ralph, maybe exposing the tactics in OpenAPI can be dangerous. The tactics are already available in the blockchain. You can actually extract the tactics of everyone in the blockchain. So maybe in OpenAPI it's easier, but I don't think it's going to be dangerous. Good evening, Unandalus. Good evening, Andy. What's your opinion on club finances being so heavily dependent on ticket sales? Maybe nerf tickets and buff sponsors or TV rights?
Yeah, I think this is something that we need to look into as well on the balance of tickets versus TV money. So TV money is basically a way of making it more fair. So you've got a league with 80,000 seater, all these full big club, and you've maybe got 2 or 3 clubs that are always full in a big, like a Spanish league, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas we give it the TV it's equal for everybody, so it's kind of making it more fair. However, we don't want we can't have it 100%. If it's 100% TV money, then those big clubs would be pulled down to they'll be losing money. So it's trying to get again that balance. But we do need to. We're going to keep doing it. We did a lot of this last year, and we're going to keep doing a lot more of this, where we keep looking at all the different countries and leagues, and have another look at it all now. A season's been played. Is there any leagues that are really suffering because of TV money? Maybe we should have different. The TV money to ticket ratio could be different for different countries or different leagues. So it's not all as it is now. So, but yeah, we will keep analysing and reviewing make sure everything's balanced. We try and get it right between ticket and TV money.
Yeah, cool. That's like era 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, hopefully by then we've got all the payouts correct.
We have other questions. Dringa says, why long ball is so effective versus counter-attacking? He doesn't believe that, Andy, right, Andy? You're not very convinced about these things.
There is some of these things, yeah. I can't remember them all off the top of my head, where certain styles and things are sort of like a bit of an advantage if someone plays that and you play this. Yeah. But I mean, the thing is that you don't know what the other person's going to play.
No, exactly. You cannot know for sure.
Yeah, we do want that in, where maybe a long ball is more effective against counter-attacking. That's fine if that's the case, and as long as there is an opposite to that, whereas a different one is. But yeah, and we will, again, like the economy, we'll keep looking into the match engine and making sure that we've got the right balance.
Exactly.
Is the intention.
Second question by Dringa. Dringa, I read your question, and it's basically been the first question that Andy replied already by Chipone, and the question was about fan base that is capped and low tier team never going up. I invite you to rewatch the stream or watch it on YouTube if you missed that. Lux, hello Andy, can you tell us more about the role of agent? How was it conceived? What do you think about the fact that the agent's role often conflicts with the manager's role, and that some managers are aggressive and threaten others, creating an atmosphere of concern that has definitely worsened recently? and doesn't sit well with the current auction system. How do you think we should act to avoid these kind of things? How are you planning to take any action? Kind of touch on this also during the live.
Yeah, we touched a little bit. On the last part of that question, we will review everything,
Mm-hmm.
like with the match engine, with the economy, the transfer market, and how it works. We'll always look to sort of trying to get it right. So when we hit era 3 and we stop, we don't need to change anything because we've got that balance right. So we're going to keep reviewing these things and trying to get the balance right. So that's the last part of that. And the first part of the question, the agent came about because the idea was to give the player a brain, and it was to, if a lot of people can hold influence in a player,
Mm-hmm.
rather than the manager having to talk to four different people or 10 different people, that they just elect a spokesperson. So the agent's effectively a spokesperson for the player shareholders, influence holders, sorry, and those other roles that the agent's got. It's basically to act in the best interests of the player influence holders. And I'm going to remove my player from your team at the end of the season. I'm not going to renew a contract. He's going to leave at the end of the season for free. If you're not playing him, or I just want to leave anyway. There is meant to be, like I mentioned earlier, a bit of tension between the agents and managers. However, we don't want it to be the point where it's people really horrible to each other. That's not the idea. The idea is you're playing a game, but you're not threatening each other. We don't want anything like that in the game, really.
But okay, we already spoke about that. But basically, at the moment, this is how the game has been conceived. It was known and expected because you said it. It must create not conflicts, tensions about the interest of the agent and the managers. Of course, when a player explodes in rating, that creates tension straight away because the agent wants to be paid more, and so he wants the contract to be renewed straight away. The manager maybe doesn't want to renew it because it's too expensive for his little team. So that's already a tension, and things like that. But Soccerverse team at the moment doesn't want to go too hard on that, so it's still tolerable this situation because it's part of the gameplay, right? Is this to summarize?
That's it. That's the game theory sort of element of it. So and have we got the balance right with this? Should the agent have more power? Should he have less powers? Should the agent have more say in the transfer market? Should we change the auction system, and does it work? So these are things that we'll be constantly reviewing and looking at so we're watching how people interact with it, how people are asked. Like, this is really good, getting these sort of questions, because it's giving us feedback in how people think about how it's currently set up, and then it helps us work together with the community to get these balances right and make changes as if needed and as needed.
Cool. Xaya actually said basically the agents voted by majority are conceived as representing the fictitious will of the player, or more, I would say more the influencers, right? Or no? I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, the agent should act in best interests of the player influence holders. Yeah, that was the intention. I mean, club owners could also buy the influence in their players and make sure that the player stays at the club, and they're the agent as well as the manager. There's that can happen, and we can't stop that happening. But that wasn't the intention when we did it. But we can't stop that happening, and it's potentially it comes back to the game economy as well. And when we're going to work out that tool for the payout calculator, it might be an expensive way of retaining a player in your club, and you might be better letting that player go and buying a different player who's going to be happy for 5 years on a contract, and you work with the manager, and as opposed to trying to buy all the players, actually buy the players' influence to keep him at your club.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
might not be the most economic way of doing it. So that'll be something we'll look at.
some
It's
people go crazy, with influence and players.
yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Andy. We have only one last question, I think, and then we can let you go because it's almost 2 hours now. Thank you so much for your availability. Last question, I think, Cipone. The actual okay, it's still about the game engine. Cipone wants to know exactly how everything works, and it's fine. The actual tactics are, in fact, some multiplicators of, for example, attack, the most bonus for attack, most penalty for defense, passing, bonus for attack, less than attack, and less penalty for defense. No bonus for defense. Man, this is difficult. It's same as passing, but for defense. Wait a second, I try to summarize it. Penalty for possession is how it works. Every tactic is own mechanism, unique for every tactic. Okay, so basically it's asking if there is like some sort of bonus system tactic-wise. So for each individual tactic, depending on the formation that you put, so the players that you put, there is a calculation that basically the Cipone, can you write it in a bit simpler way, because otherwise it's a mess to read it, to understand. Before Andy goes, is he a Leeds fan? If not, who's his team? Okay, this is easy question. Who's your team?
Right. No, I'm not a Leeds fan, although I am in Leeds at the moment. But I do like Leeds. I won't say, I can't say I'm a fan though. I don't go and watch them, but
Napoli.
I do like them.
You
I don't actually support any team.
You're agnostic.
I like football, and I like it in a strange way, where I like to see the good clubs do well. I like to see certain players do well. I'm a bit indifferent to. I can't say I'm a fan of any club. I don't.
Interesting. You're a football geek. You like football as a genre.
Yeah.
That's
I
great.
I like it when a club's doing well. I like it when a small club is punching above its weight and doing better than it should do. I like clubs that build nice stadiums. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I'm not a particular fan of any particular team.
Nice. That's why you're not playing. You're not playing, right? You're not the manager of someone in Soccerverse. You're just the big boss of Soccerverse. You haven't?
I have got a team, yeah.
Okay. I didn't check. How's it going, your team? You winning?
It's okay. Yeah.
2 games in. It's still early.
2 games in.
Okay, Cipone provided a shortened question. The tactics are like multiplicators, more attack, less defense, etc. Or every tactic is having its own and unique mechanism?
Yeah, I think I understand the question, but I'll have to have another look at the match engine. But yeah, effectively, I think they are multipliers. So if you play more attacking, and you will amplifies your attackers to the loss of your defenders. I believe that is happening, but I'll have to refresh that.
One day, if you want, and if it's possible, we can do like a technical live where we only speak about the game engine when you can show us some piece of code or you have time to look at it. If the community is interested and if you have time, what do you think? One day?
Yeah, it sounds good. And what I could do before on that, I'd have to do it. I would go and spend a lot of time in the match engine. So
there you go. You're gonna be super fresh. We're gonna have like a focus live only on that, so that you can explain us, because it's going to be open source anyway, so people might be interested to know it beforehand. Okay, guys, I think we have the last question by Kev, which is Nacho Eras, who just arrived. So let's do this question and then we'll let Andy go. Unless you, Andy, you want to stay for marbles, but you don't have to. Okay, last question.
Yeah, I'll watch marbles. I'll come off. I'll come off the call, but then I'll go and watch it and
Let's
with a
go. You have to play.
cup of coffee.
Play,
Yeah.
play. If you win, I'll send you the SVC as well, even if you are the big boss of the SVC. Kev, I have a question. What do you think about unbalanced leagues? A natural evolution or something you need to correct in the future? For example, a random team in Mongolia winning a lot of matches cause of a lot of money cause of continental competition being much stronger than the others in the league, or payouts gonna stay like now? Thank you.
Yeah, no, that is something we'll keep an eye on as a general economy that we want to keep an eye on. We did introduce the qualifiers in the European Continental Cup for that exact reason. Because there'd be some teams like from Gibraltar that would always qualify, or any of the smaller leagues. So at least now it's not guaranteed to get into the group stage where you're going to get 10 guaranteed games with high incomes.
True.
For that was so we will keep looking at things like that in order to make sure it's balanced. But I mean, somebody could come along in Mongolia. If there's a team in Mongolia that keeps doing that, there isn't. There's it's like somebody could come along one day and take over another team in Mongolia with the intention of doing the same thing. He might find out that he might calculate that it's worth putting a lot of SVC into that club, making himself even better than a team in Mongolia that keeps qualifying for the Asian Continental Cup. And instead, he wins because he's got a better team than the other one now.
Mhm.
And then he's reaping all the rewards. And he might calculate that it's worth him doing that. Over 5 seasons, he's going to
Yeah.
get 10 times more SVC than what he put in. So
Mhm.
this is the interesting thing about it. If there is any sort of things like that going on, then somebody else could just come and do it as well. And it's who's
True.
until it's not worth doing it. It's like it's a bit of a free market in that effect. Now that doesn't mean it's correct, and we will always look at it and is something out of balance or is it wrong or but in theory any team in that Mongolian country
Could
can
make it.
qualify for the Cup.
Yes.
It's who wants to make the team the best. Is it worth doing that? And that's and another sort of similar thing is so any team in say England, there's 200 teams in England. Even at the team in Division 10, any team in Division 10 has got the potential to be the best team in English Division 1 and qualify for the Continental Champions Cup every season. So you could take a team in Division 10, build it up over time. It might involve putting SVC into it and continuously doing that, but you could build it into a team that stays in the top league. And the amount of SVC you'd get, considering what it might have cost you to get up there, you might calculate. So nothing's fluid. Any team in 20 seasons' time, half of the teams currently in English Division 1 might not be in there. They might have worked their way in the lower leagues. And nothing's depends how much people look after. Well, it depends on 2 things. One, how much people know the real life football players and everything on. There's nothing static in this game. Every football player is ultimately going to retire and be replaced by other people. In 20 years' time, nobody knows who the 95 to 99 rated players are going to be because some of them might not even been born. So it's all fluid. So you've got to keep your eye on the real life football. And even in the English Division 10 might get hold of 16, 17-year-old before somebody else. And we do have squad caps in there as well to prevent somebody having 100 players in a team dominating it. So there's things like that. And so yeah, these things, that Mongolian example, it does other things like that and it also depends on how much you're going to look after and keep an eye on what's going on in the game as well.
The main
Any
thing is the
team can.
fan base, because if it's capped, it's capped. Like Kev is saying now, Chipone asked before. Basically, it's a recurring theme. The fact that in Mongolia, many people is looking, not only Mongolia, okay, everyone, many people is looking for big stadium because it gets more ticket. So you have more income. You can sustainably grow a soccer team because you have more income
Mhm.
in terms of finances. And so you are less reliant on cash injections. The problem is fan base. If the fan base doesn't grow, then it doesn't matter how you grow the. I mean, even if the size is big, if the fan base is capped, after a certain time you need to cash inject. So that's the main people issue challenge that people see in doing this strategy. That's why Nacho
Mm.
asked, Chipone, and also Dringa. Also, they ask all the same thing. So that's probably something
Yeah,
to take notes.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Well, guys, Andy, thank you so much. We've been super long, but it's been amazing. We met you a little bit more informally at the beginning, then we delved into your past. We talked about